What up, everybody in the YTBC? Big shout out to hashtag Come Back to Boxing, and a big shout out to Boxing United. So, I was listening to some videos by Shawn Newton, and Shawn, I just want to make this response video to you. Alright? You did a video where you were talking about somebody in the LDBC. You didn't put their name, so I couldn't look them up or anything, and basically talking about how he was saying that he likes Lomachenko, but he doesn't like the hype. And I'm gonna address that real quick. So as far as liking the hype or disliking a fighter due to the hype that they get, that has to be one of the most retarded things I've ever heard. Because just try to apply that logic to anything in a real life situation that's not related to boxing, okay? And it just sounds retarded. Let's say you are dating a girl and someone out of nowhere says, hey, so-and-so would fuck the shit out of your girl. He'd steal your girl. Now, let's say that individual doesn't personally know the other individual. He's just heard talk around town about how he steals people's girls, doesn't know that it's true, doesn't know the circumstances. Maybe he is stealing people's girls, but maybe these girls are being physically abused, maybe they're being mistreated. They don't know the whole story. They're just talking out their ass on, oh, he would steal your girl. It would be so retarded for you to hate the person that he's speaking about because they have no bearing on the hype that is happening. People can't help who promotes them. That includes boxers. And for you to dislike a boxer just because there's radical fans who will hype him up, it's just childish as fuck. It's like I said, you could apply this to anything and it would just not be very hold on, let me turn off my ringer. It would be very childish. It would be ridiculous. When I was in high school, I used to go and play basketball in a neighboring town. And it was a small town. And people used to tell this other kid, I must have been like 16, 17 at the time. And basically this kid was a big fish in a small pond. And these kids that I played with, they told him about me. So we played. We ended up meeting up and playing each other. And I beat him. But here's the thing. Now keep in mind, I'm like 16 or 17 years old at the time. This kid was about the same age. He might have even been a little bit older than me. All right? And us being high school aged kids didn't hate each other just because of the stories that we heard about each other playing basketball. All right? Now I went and I beat him. I beat him fair and square. He did make some excuses afterwards. And I shut down those excuses, being like, hey, we're playing on the same court, on the same hoop, with the same ball. And I beat you in 21. That's all there is to it. But there was still no hate. There was no ill will between us. So the whole notion of I can't stand such and such fighter because of their fan base is one of the most retarded things that I've ever heard. It's like I said, I know that my analogy with somebody who's known for stealing other dudes' girls, I know that was kind of a stupid one, but still, it's really that stupid though, when you say stupid shit like that. So, I mean, when you say, I like Lomachenko, but I can't stand him because of the hype, it really just, it's a cop-out. You're just trying to be able to hate on somebody without having any kind of repercussions, without having your logic being challenged, because you're saying, oh, I like him, so you can't really criticize me for criticizing him. It don't work that way. Now me, I actually do like Lomachenko a lot. And in my last video, or not my last video had nothing to do with boxing, but my last boxing video, you know, I said that this is somewhat of a cherry pick for Lomachenko to pick on Davis, because Davis simply isn't on his level. That doesn't mean I don't like Lomachenko. I give him full credit for beating Rigondeaux. I give him full credit for beating Gary Russell Jr. I give him full credit for beating everybody that he's beat so far. And if he's not ready to move up, he's not ready to move up. It's just unfortunate that until he moves up, he's not really going to have any real competition. Unless somebody else moves up that can challenge him, you know, moves up into his division that can challenge him. But until he moves up, which we're not saying it's going to be 2-3 years. Who knows? He could move up to 135 in mid-2018. He might fight one more fight and then move up to 135 pounds. We don't know. But if he's not ready to move up yet, he's not ready to move up yet. That's all there is to it. Now, let me go ahead and get to the response part of this video to Shawn Newton. Now, Shawn Newton, real talk, I like you. I don't have no problems with you. I think you're a genuine guy when it comes down to it. There's a lot of people who accuse you of being this, that, or whatever simply because they do not agree with your opinions on boxing. And that shit just ain't right. However, and this is just my advice, because what you do with your channel is completely up to you. So I don't want you to take this as me trying to tell you what to do. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I'm just giving you advice. I really think you should consider stopping these videos where you're trying to expose the LDBC. Okay? And let me explain a couple reasons why. Well, number one, it's not everybody in the LDBC. So that's more of a broad, not really going to go too much into it, but the fact is it's not everybody in the LDBC. Now, the more pressing point that I want to make is you've been doing this as far as like trying to expose the LDBC since pretty much since the beginning of the LDBC. And yes, I understand the LDBC wasn't just formed, you know, it was formed before, technically before Shawn Newton even started making videos. But the LDBC as we know it today, the actual boxing community where they have separated themselves from all other channels, they pretty much have an echo chamber, that LDBC, you've been quote unquote exposing them, which you have for the most part since its inception. But it's like I said, it's not everybody in the LDBC. The LDBC has some good channels that I don't agree with their opinions, but I'm not here just to listen to people who agree with me. I like to get different perspectives. That's why I'm subscribed to you, Shawn Newton. I don't agree with everything you say, but it is another perspective that I think holds some value. I'm not one of these people who comes out and tries to devalue your perspective just because you don't think Terrence Crawford is number one pound for pound. You know, just because you don't think, Andre Ward, I honestly, I don't think you give Andre Ward enough credit for what he did at light heavyweight. Now, granted, I'm not saying that you should praise Andre Ward to the high heavens. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think he warrants a little bit more credit than what you give him. However, it's your opinion. So I'm not coming out here making a response video to you every time you say something that I disagree with. And that's not what I'm doing now. As a fellow uploader, I just think you're not meeting your full potential because you spend so much time and energy trying to expose other people's biases, their hypocrisies. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you do it from time to time, there's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, technically, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing right now. I just think you're not tapping into your full potential. I really think that as good as your content is, it could be better. And I mean, everybody can improve. I certainly can improve. And I'm trying to do everything that I can to improve on my content with whatever time I have available. But Shawn, I'm not going to come out here because I know I've seen a lot of people that are subscribed to me that they talk shit about you and stuff. And I mean, that's their prerogative, but I don't see the need to insult you just because I don't agree with everything you're doing with your channel. It's like I said, at the end of the day, it's your channel. You talk about whatever the hell you want to. If tomorrow you decide you're not going to do any more boxing videos and all you're going to do is roast people from the LDBC, I can't stop you. But as far as I know, you do want to talk boxing, and I think you could improve by simply not making a response video every time somebody from the LDBC says something that you don't agree with. And really, I mean, not that long ago, I put out a video that, I want to collab with people on YouTube. And I would like to extend an invitation. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word I wanted to use. I would like to extend an invitation, honestly. I think that, we could do a hangout on my channel or a hangout on yours. And it could be anything boxing related. Because that's what I want. I want to talk boxing. And to be honest, I mean, you can only expose so much. Like I said, pretty much from the inception of the LDBC as it is today, you've pretty much exposed as much as you can. At this point, you're essentially beating a dead horse, and it's really not necessary. I mean, if exposing them as much as you have to this point hasn't made them change, they're not going to change. And let's be honest, a lot of, subscriber count really doesn't mean much. A lot of times you see these channels with huge subscriber counts. I'm not accusing anybody in the LDBC of buying subscribers. I'm just saying it could be possible. And even if somebody isn't buying subscribers, a lot of times when you have a large channel, there is a large portion of that channel that are sheep. Now, I'm not trying to hate on anybody who has, 10,000, 15,000, 30,000 subscribers. I'm just saying the larger your subscriber base is, the more sheep you tend to have following you. And it's not the uploader's fault. It's not. You can't help who follows you. You can't help who subscribes to you. All you can do is make your content and hope that whoever's subscribing to you is subscribing to you for the right reasons. I know I could probably get perceived as being one of these channels who is anti-African American and pro-European, but to be honest, I have no allegiance. I like both, actually, because what it comes down to is I don't care if a fighter is black, European, Hispanic, Arabic, whatever. It doesn't matter. There could be somebody from Krypton who joins the fight game. As if he has a style that I like and he's knocking out motherfuckers, I could care less. Because to me, it's not about that. To me, it's about the skill and the excitement. And Shawn, I get it. A lot of these guys have done you wrong as well. They've spread rumors. They attach certain stigmas on you that aren't true. I almost made a video when I saw John Boxing put out that video about you, or supposedly about you, and really it wasn't really even about you. It was probably one of the most disgusting videos I've ever seen. Disgusting for more reason than one. I mean, obviously, the first reason why it was disgusting is because it was a grown man trying to meet, I believe it was an 11-year-old girl or something like that. Trying to meet a minor. Okay? And the other reason why that video was disgusting is because John Boxing was trying to make it out to be that it was you in the video, which obviously it wasn't. The guy looked nothing like you. He's just trying to say that this is the type of person that you are, when there's not a shred of evidence to suggest that that's true. He's just simply, and I mean, you're going to have trolls. And despite what John Boxing thinks, trolls can make videos. And that was a troll right there. But it's a troll that crossed the line. All right, this is the type of thing that people, their lives are ruined by. And he's over there making jokes about it like, he's devaluing the situation with real scumbags such as that one. And also trying to accuse you of something very severe. And it wasn't right. And the only reason why I didn't say nothing is because anytime I've ever spoke out in defense of someone else, it really doesn't fix nothing. I said my piece. I didn't even make a video originally when everything happened between 68 and Jay Cotto, and I know that's all water under the bridge. Good to hear that. But originally, my beef with the dude, all I said was that I felt he was spewing nonsense. And it's the truth. I do feel like he was spewing nonsense, and I stand by my statement. If 68 don't like it, oh well. It's not my job to make sure that he likes everything that I say. And he took huge offense to it, which it wasn't really even meant to offend him. And he decided that he was going to basically tell me that I needed to shut the fuck up. So I let him know I'm going to voice my opinion. If you if you feel that you're not spewing nonsense, then just tell me why you feel you're not spewing nonsense. Don't try to shut me up. But he couldn't do that. And at the end of the day, to be honest, I hold absolutely no ill will toward him. I even try to reach out to him. I told him that I'm sorry to hear about his father passing away when it happened. And apparently I got to him enough where he wasn't willing to accept my condolences. So it's whatever, this is just childish bullshit. So I get it, if some of these guys have wronged you. But at this point, I just don't feel that you're really exposing anything. You're not exposing anything new. And I think it's taking away from your potential. But I think you're genuine. Like I said, I extend an invitation to you personally. If you would like to do a collaboration, like I said, we could either do a hangout on my channel, we could do a hangout on your channel. And whoever has a problem with me collaborating with you, they can unsubscribe from me if they want. They can be all pissed off. They can tell me that I'm sympathizing with racists. First off, Shawn Newton ain't no racist. All right? So he criticized some black fighters. He's also criticized other fighters of other races. He's not racist. He just has criticized some black fighters that people just can't handle the criticisms, and their only logic that they have is, well, he must be racist if he's gonna criticize Deontay Wilder, and that's just foolish. So if you consider Shawn Newton a racist, I don't subscribe to your ideology. You obviously don't understand what the definition of racism is, and I can't take you calling him a racist seriously. Now, if you could bring some evidence to the table that suggests otherwise, then that's different. But if you're just going to say that he criticized Andre Ward and therefore he's a racist, well, with that logic, I could accuse a lot of channels for being racist because they support only black fighters. But you know what? Just because they support only black fighters, I don't think they're racist either. You can support a fighter for whatever reason you want. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's ill will or whatever. The whole country of Mexico, for the most part, not the whole country, because like I said, you can't generalize because there's always, in groups there are always individuals. But almost the whole country of Mexico is going to get behind a Mexican. That's just the way that it is. So, and it doesn't make them racist. So for the same reasons, I can't say somebody who pretty much only supports black fighters is a racist either. All right? Now, do I agree with their criteria for supporting a fighter? No, not at all. But that's their decision. That's their prerogative. And it doesn't necessarily make them a bad person or a scumbag. Because at the end of the day, even if somebody supports mainly their own kind, that doesn't mean that they're not willing to give you the shirt off their backs. That doesn't mean that if you were dying, starving, and they had some extra food that they would share it with you. Doesn't mean any of that. It's just a sport. So, Shawn, like I said, from one uploader to another, I'm just giving you my advice. I think you've done as much as you can on exposing. And there's not really anything more you could do. And yeah, maybe they won't get, a lot of them are not giving Lomachenko credit. And guess what? They're not going to give him credit anyways. regardless of what he does. He could move up to heavyweight and knock out Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Not saying that that's realistic, just saying in an unrealistic scenario, if he were to somehow manage to do that, he still would not get credit. They would still either accuse him of being on PEDs, which I'll be honest, that would be viable for that scenario. But you get what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what he does. If he were to move up and beat Mikey Garcia, if he were to move up and beat Terrence Crawford, keep in mind, I'm not saying he beats these guys. I'm just saying if that were to happen, they're going to find some excuse not to give him credit. They're going to accuse him of something, or they're going to say that he weight drained or weight bullied, or whatever they can muster up, that's what they're going to do. Well, guess what? Fuck them. You, on my favorite fighters, I would be putting sorted videos, that's for sure. There's a whole community out there. People easily go and make a response video. Bullshit. And yeah, I had a debate with today. Yeah, I shake him as Thurman because he holds Keith Thurman to every other fighter. Don't believe me? Listen to the debate. He told me, just as an example, he told me that boxing is about making money. Why didn't Keith Thurman fight Amir Khan already? Keith Thurman, I don't go and make a response video. So, like I said, I'm not really trying to criticize you. That's not what this video is all about. This video is about, as a fellow uploader, just take my advice into consideration. And even if you don't, you're still, a long time ago, you made a video saying that, these guys just block you. And I told you in your comment section, you're more than welcome to comment on any of my videos, no matter what. And that still holds true to this day. Till this day, you've made a couple comments there where you disagree with me, but not once have I threatened to block you. Not once have I threatened to accuse you of anything. Not once did I ever make a rumor or anything about you. I either rebutted or I left it alone anytime that you made a comment. So, but like I said, even if you don't take my advice, I would still like to do a collaboration with you. And anybody who's going to call me a racist just because I want to talk boxing with you, well, it is what it is. If that makes me a racist in your eyes, well then I'm sorry, you don't know shit about racism. But anyways, to all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble on this video, this was definitely longer than what I really intended it to be. But hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.